May the Most High good of all bless us. Once again, you see it, right? It's two more atmospheric storms coming to hit. They call them twin atmospheric rivers, right? They be capping, man. That's dumb. You see that, plus you see the earthquake that just hit, another one. It's like these same, the two train wrecks, the two earthquakes, the back-to-back floodings and all that. Y'all don't see what's happening, man. The year to go to 23, man. These forces will be allowed to do things. Mass casualties. Stay in your power. There's going to be things that separate people that are protected versus the people that are mundane, that think that they run the show. When there are things going around, there are forces bigger than you and I that's in play doing things. Remember, I keep saying the forces of light will help those who knows that they're in that power. Just like the lady Helena Knox, when she witnessed for herself, when she was a part of the sacrificing people, putting people in vans, right? Working for the government, sacrificing people. She saw people being taken out their body by the light, right? And I hope y'all know that the FDA just came out and they had no choice but to explain that your tap water gives you cancer. They have chemicals in our tap water, our drinking water, that gives us cancer, and they had to admit it because of the train wreck. It had so much lawsuits against the government because the government lied and said that the water's fine, the air's fine to breathe, and there are people that's ended up dying and becoming severely sick and injured, dogs vomiting and all this different stuff like I showed in my other videos. So there's been coming out dozens of lawsuits against the senator and the governor and all these, the mayor and all this stuff. Is real. So the FDA had no choice but to come out and say they are now reducing the amount of cancer-causing chemicals that's in our water. What the fuck? Not only that, you see these mass casualties that's going on at 23, they're working their magic. And I hope you know that you can counter these spills that's going on. You can counter these spills. Alright? So, that was just a sidebar. I had to tell people. There was an FBI agent that specializes in missing persons and stuff like that. And one of his cases, there was a woman that he spoke on behalf of that was kidnapped by two men, and they put a blindfold over her so she couldn't see them and stuff like that. And they threatened her, like, if you get loud and stuff like that, we'll kill you on sight. You know, be quiet. We're gonna drive you to a location. You know, if you don't say anything, you will not be harmed. But if you make a commotion, we will kill you. So they threw her in the van, right? They drugged her, and she was getting sleepy. She was dozing off in the van, and she said all she remembers, she was just driving for what seemed for a long time, because she fell asleep. She said she woke up and they were still driving. All right. And one of the guys, she was crying, and one of the guys realized that she were up as they were driving, and he tried to console her and comfort her and all that stuff. Like, she said, why are you doing this to me and stuff like that? They said, look, we're getting paid for this. You know what I mean? So just cooperate with us, and we're just going to do this. You know, after this, we're going to drop you off, and we have nothing to do with you after you dropped off, you know. The madame wants to see you. So she knew it was a woman that called for her presence. So they drove as she was blindfolded, and they got to a destination, and they took her out the car and they took the blindfold off of her. And she said that she felt like they were going to kill her because, you know, they revealed themselves after they took off the blindfold. She saw who they was. So she said she closed her eyes and said, like, please let me go. I wouldn't I wouldn't say anything about how you look or anything like that or whatever. She tried to close her eyes and stuff, but they were giving her, they said, look, be cool. We're going to give you a shower. We're going to clean you up and get you dressed. So they cleaned her up and they got her dressed. And she found it a little strange of what was going on. So she said, so they said, all right, we're going to get back in the car and we're going to drive to another destination. You know, and she was just like, she felt so hopeless, like she knew she was going to die. And then she said when she was in the car, she remembered when she passed out from being drugged, being injected with a needle. She said she had a dream about a white wolf, like there was a white wolf that came to protect her, and it came and it was like telling her to follow it and stuff like that. And she was like, it was so strange, it seemed like it was surreal, you know what I mean? All these spiritual things, like we have spirit, like the animal spirit and all these different things, it gets deep. So they drove her to the woods, you know what I mean? And in the beginning of the woods, there was another woman. There was the woman who called for her, you know what I mean? And she had a large knife, and she was walking around her playing with it, like, I'm gonna butcher you. She was telling her, like, do you know who I am? You know what I mean? And she was a priestess, and many people don't know. They think that the priest is the one with the power. It's actually the priestess. The woman is the one with the powers. When you go into these occults, it is not the priest. It's not the high priest. It is the priestess. That's the one that is the queen. Like they say, the queen of the damned. Okay? Sort of like you think that the king is the one running the show, but it's actually usually the queen that sit back, and she the one that has the political plots and powers. You know, the king is like the face, you know, so he's like the masculine authority. But you know, in the dark forces and stuff like that too, not only dark forces but light forces, the feminine energy, like, I don't know what it is about feminine energy, but the magic is powerful. You dare not play with a sorceress. Alright? A sorcerer neither, but it's just the sorceress is like a whole different ball game. Like, they are the ones that run the show with the dark forces. So, and they hide it very well, protected. So she had the knife and she like stripped her naked, and she said, I'm gonna butcher you, but before I butcher you, we're gonna torture you and do different things to you and stuff like that. So they gagged her, they put something over her mouth, and they tied her up to a tree. They took her to a tree and tied her, you know what I mean? Tied her back to the tree behind it. So they started a bonfire or whatever and stuff like that, and it was a few of them, and they started getting naked and stuff like that. Then they started having like this sexual, everybody started having orgies and stuff like that, and they started doing things to her to make her have an orgasm and stuff like that too. She said the woman did things to her that made her come and have an orgasm as well too and stuff like that. And she said there was a dark aura that came around the whole atmosphere, and like a huge Paul Bunyan type of man came, and his eyes, she said he had like those slit lizard like eyes, you know what I mean? Like if you ever seen Rosemary's Baby, and you see when a woman, she slept with a goat man, and she said that the kidnapped the woman said that same being was there. She was like, she knew he wasn't human. She was like, it looked like he had it was a big hairy man with like those reptilian eyes, and she said he had like the resemblance of like a goat man or something like that. She said just like that. Like, I'm telling you, I could play the video, but I'm telling you. So the people there were going to kill her. They're going to sacrifice her, right? And he was getting it prepared. He told everybody, like, all right, we got to get her prepared to slaughter her and stuff like that. So all of a sudden, She said there was a man. She said she was so mad at the high priestess because she kept like slashing her here and there, you know, on her breast and stuff like that, on her face and stuff, on her stomach and all that, like teasing her with the big knife, poking her a little bit, making her bleed, sticking her a little bit, like, you know, scaring her. And she said she got to the point where her fear turned into like this fierce anger, like she wanted to kill her for doing this stuff to her, you know what I'm saying? And they were about to prepare to like slaughter her and stuff like that. And this man, she said this older guy came out of nowhere with a shotgun and started shooting at them, you know what I mean, hitting a few of them. And they started firing back, so it was a big shootout, you know what I'm saying? And the goat man, the large goat man, she said, started throwing water over the fire and stuff, and he told them to kill the guy and her. But the guy with the shotgun started blowing them down, you know what I mean? The ones that was trying to shoot her and all that stuff. So they started blowing her down. And I think they like hit her, you know what I mean? One of them like grazed her or something. So she started losing blood and stuff like that. So she was weak. But the guy they ended up all running away, shooting and running away. So the guy ended up rescuing her and get her in the car. And she said she was fainting and stuff like that. She was like in and out. And she saw the man when she was in the car. And he said, you have to, he was like, you have to listen to me, pay attention to me. This is what you're going to do. And he started giving her instructions on where you're going to go, who you're going to get in contact with and all that for protection. And this is what you're going to do. You're going to go to this agent, FBI. Well, his name is Woo Woo. And she said when she was looking at him, she realized that his eyes were glowing fluorescent green. And she looked at him and she said, you're not human, are you? She's like, you're an angel. And he said, yes. I was sent here to rescue you. You know, I'll protect you and rescue you and stuff like that. And this is who you're going to go to. Pay attention to me because they're going to come after you. And he was explaining, like, you're going to go to this man, the sergeant so-and-so and so, who to trust and all that, because these people are in the government. But it's so appealing to me that this federal agent came out of nowhere and said that part. Like, she wanted to make it clear that that man that saved her he wasn't human. He was a real-life angel. I told you, just like the lady Helena Knox that was killing people for the government, she said that she witnessed a lot of them being sacrificed and a lot of them being saved by a beam of light, like a star would come down and then it'd be two stars and they'll be left with a smiling corpse. Some of them would be like, you came to save me, Lord, and stuff like that, because they think it's, you know, something religious and stuff like that. Whatever you see, it's your truth. But this is what happened. These beams of light will come for you. And sometimes they come in the form of what we think is humans. Like I told y'all before, when I was going to work one day, and it was this man, his eyes, he stopped me. He stopped me, and it's like, I've been stopped before by, you know, homeless people asking for change and all that, but that man, his eyes was like fierce, fiery brown, like, and his conviction, he pierced through my soul, and I know he wasn't no human. He just posed to be a human. He just looked like it, but he was like, the only job you have to do is help people. He told me that. I ain't never seen that guy again on that strip. I seen everybody else that I see every day begging for change, but he wasn't there. He wasn't no, I told y'all, he was an angel the way he looked. He was something different. So the lady, she said, you're not human. Like, you can tell. So I'm finna get ready and go on this 3-day fast. I gotta go on a fast because it's a lot of business that I gotta attend to, because I know what's going on in this phase, what they got going on, and the only ones who gonna be maneuvering through it and who gonna be, like, you know, blessed and all that are the people who go deep within their power, who knows what side they belong to. They have a whole system tricking us Each and every day you all wake up and you all are violating the universal laws. You're breaking them unknowingly. So those who break the laws, regardless of you having a lack of knowledge, there's a place for y'all. I've been there. I've seen it for myself. I've seen how shit operates. And the weak, they're not going to understand, nor they're not going to believe either, because they believe that they're higher and bigger than something that's not bigger, that they're not bigger than. And I apologize if I'm speaking and I don't sound like you can't catch up to the spirituality, but this shit is real. There's certain people that's going to be protected, and there are many that's not. Real shit. It's not on you. You know, it's all about who you are in the heart. Like I said, in the spirit world, you cannot hide your thoughts. It's open like a book. We can hear it. We can read it. So who you are on the inside, that's the true you. I could care less about the personality of who you developed to be as you came here, but your goal is to get back to where you was, to the stars, to the Most High, to the galaxies and the universe. You have to be as pure as you were before you came. So your goal is to cleanse yourself, so when you go back up in your most perfect, beautiful form. Or some of you all are going to get trapped here over and over, and some of you all are going to be in an even darker place, in the abyss. I'm not fucking around when I talk. I'm not making shit up, making shit sound mystical and all that. If I tell you that I'm brown skinned and I got locks, right? Am I lying to you? Sure as that's sure. That's facts. This is how serious I am about this spiritual world. I've been to them, like I told you. The order of the light and the Most High took me out of my body and took me to certain places that I know for a fact exist. What the hell are you people being spiritual about if you don't even believe in these different things? Especially from account from somebody that's actually telling you. You see what I'm saying? Get with it or get left. It's y'all egos that's keeping y'all from witnessing the supernatural and doing all these different things. It's y'all ego. Some of y'all get mad if other people get it and you don't. So therefore you got a level of hate in you, some sort of jealousy and all that different stuff. Like I said, it's all in the heart, and it can be read. That's why a lot of you all would never see no spiritual stuff. You might look it, you might look the part, you know what I'm saying? You might speak it, gravitate towards it, but your heart would determine all. And if your own heart is dark, clean that shit out before you even start thinking about seeing those supernatural, spiritual, higher power beings that's on your side or anything. How it's going to be on your side if your own higher power won't be on your side if it knows that you're corrupt? Like I said, I said enough.